Make sure in your notebook you are writing 6.3 algebraic properties. In this lesson, you will learn how to apply the commutative and associative properties to solve the problems. So in your notebook, write this down. Properties. Commutative property, you are just switching the two numbers. For example, 9 times 8 gives you 72 and 8 times 9 gives you 72. So by switching the two numbers around, you are not going to change the answer. So that is your commutative property. Associative property is actually the grouping property. So where you have three numbers, so 5, 3 and 2, switching these numbers around does not change the value. 5 plus 3 gives you 8, 8 plus 2 gives you 10, and if I switch them around, 3 plus 2 gives you 5, 5 plus 5 gives you 10, 10 and 10 are still the same. So associative property, think them as three associates. And the same associative property can also work for multiplication. So 5 times 2 times 10 will be the same as 5 times 2, 5 times 10 times 2. They will both give you the same answer. The last one in this case is the identity property. When you multiply any number by 1, you're going to get the number back itself. When you add a 0 to any number, you're going to get the value back again. So this will be the identity property. This one is the most important one because you're going to keep in mind any number multiplied by 1 gives you back the number again. So all these properties you must write in your notebook. So you want to rewind, pause the video and copy these down. And this one also is a visual representation of a commutative property. So this was given by a student. So in this case, 2 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 2. Commute means to travel. So whether you're going this side, whether you're going this side, you're going to end up in the same place, or you're going from home, you're going to go to travel to the office, and from the office, you're going to travel back to home. So this visual is something I want you guys to copy it down in your notebook as well. So the properties determine whether the two expressions are equivalent. Equivalent means they're asking you whether they are equal. So the keyword is equivalent means equal. If so, tell what property is applied. So let's focus on number 1. So keep in mind, parenthesis goes first. So this will be 2 times, 3 times 7 is 21. And 2 times 3, parenthesis goes first, so this will be 6 times 7. The dot implies multiplication. So 2 times 21 is 42, 6 times 7 is 42, so they are both equal. So since they are equal, let's look at what property they applied. They have three numbers and we have grouped them different. They grouped the 3 and the 7. Here they have grouped the 2 and the 3. So for question number 1, they have applied the associative property, which is the grouping property. Let's focus on question number 2. 6 plus 3 gives you 9. 3 plus 6 gives you 9. And they are both equal. And in this case, they have just switched two numbers around. So they have used the commutative property. Commutative is the switching of the two numbers. They use the commutative property. Let's focus on question number 11. 2 plus 8 plus 2. Parenthesis goes first. 8 plus 2 is 10 plus 2. 2 plus 10 is 12. Parenthesis goes first. 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 is equal to 12. Let's focus on what property they applied. So they have grouped them different. Here they have grouped 8 and 2. In this case, they have grouped 2 and 8. So they have used the associative property. Associative property is the grouping property. Now let's focus on question number 12. So 40 divided by 10. 40 divided by 10, I'm going to write it like this. And 10 divided by 40, I'm going to write it like this. Keep in mind, this division symbol and this division symbol that looks like a fraction bar, they are both the same. So 40 over 10 is going to give me a 4. 10 over 40, I simplify that by 10. And I'm going to get 1 over 4. If this is confusing, watch this one. So 40 divided by 10. I both can simplify by 10. 40 divided by 10 is 4. 10 divided by 10 is 1. So this gives me 4 over 1. 10 over 40 simplified by 10 and 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 40 divided by 10 is 4. So 4 over 1 is not the same as 1 over 4. So they are not equal. Let's focus on question number 16. Use one or more properties to rewrite each expression as an expression that does not use parentheses. So they basically want you to replace the parentheses with nothing. So b plus 4 plus 17. So if I remove the parentheses, I'm just going to look like b plus 4 plus 17. Now keep in mind, you can add the numbers. So this changes to b plus 17 plus 4 is going to give you 21. The letter, you just leave it as it is. Let's focus on 18. Remove the parentheses. So this is going to be y times 200 times 2. The dot implies multiplication. So y times 200 times 2, you can multiply the numbers. 200 times 2 is going to give you 400. And usually, now I'm going to use the commutative property and I'm going to switch then and I'm going to get 400y. So from here to here, I used commutative property to switch the two numbers. From here to here, I have used the associative property by multiplying and grouping 202 first and getting 400.